Away from the start of the NFL season, the Ravens and Chiefs will play next Thursday night. Still a lot of business that has not been concluded, and none of it more significant than as it pertains to that man. Dak Prescott still does not have a new deal with the Cowboys, so he enters the final year of his contract and is set to hit true free agency in March. Yesterday, he was asked about the importance of having a deal before the season begins. Listen to what he said.
You don't need a deal done before the season.
I don't need no.
Would you like it done before the season?
I think it says a lot if it is or if it isn't. But however, doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you.
What does it say if it isn't?
Just how people feel.
How do you feel about Jerry said the negotiation isn't about your merit as the Cowboys quarterback, but more about their cap situation? What do you take from that when he says, it's not really about what you're doing?
Yeah, I understand that. That's the business and the nature of this game that we play. I stopped, honestly, listening to things that he says to the media a long time ago. So it doesn't really hold weight with me.
He said that with a smile. Yeah. But, there's a kernel of truth at the base of every joke, right? Well, what did you take away from that?
Like he doesn't care because he talks directly to Jerry. Like he knows what Jerry says to him matters a heck of a lot more than what Jerry says when he's entertaining. So I think Dak is approaching it the right way. He shouldn't be listening to the stuff Jerry says out loud in the media. He should be listening to what Jerry says to him face to face.
It is also worth pointing out, you have said this multiple times, and you said it in our meeting again this morning. We are all talking about this as though it is a fait accompli that he will go into this season without a contract.
Right.
Except for you. You're not talking about it that way.
The possibility still exists that he gets a deal done before they open the season. It does. Like Dak Prescott, this is a comfortable and confident human being. You listen to him talk. And the reason is he's in complete control. He will get whatever it is that he wants, right? Like if that's a deal before the season with the Dallas Cowboys, then that's what will happen. If he wants to take it to free agency, then that's what will happen. They can't franchise him. They got the big dead money hit coming next year. He is in total control. So whatever the outcome is, and there is still a wide range of possible outcomes, including he signs today, it's because he wants it.
You were laughing while he was talking. What was it that struck you as funny?
I mean, because it was Captain Obvious, right? You can't pay attention to what Jerry Jones does. That's Jerry Jones, the entertainer. It only matters what you say to each other and what he says to your agent. But Jerry, to me, Jerry is doing it right. At this point, like, Jerry has a blank check, and he's going to have to give it to Dak Prescott sooner or later. But why give it to him sooner when you don't know how the outcome of the season is going to come? Like, right now, Dak Prescott is in a position where he can be Joe Flacco. I bet on myself, and I can hit the open market. But Jerry Jones will write him a check for whatever he wants if he wins the Super Bowl.
Right.
So why not make Dak a little uncomfortable? Why not? I like my quarterback pissed off and saying, "Oh, he don't. Let me show you," because that's what they need. I need that sense of urgency so he can show.
Jerry's doing it all wrong.
Now, at this point, no. He's past the point of no return.
So what we saw yesterday was the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
Dak Prescott isn't talking to the media or Jerry Jones. He's talking to the owner of the Raiders, Mark Davis.
So?
He's talking to the Raider of the Giants, John Mara, because I am Dak Prescott.
Oh, go to that organization. Good luck.
I am in total control,
okay.
And I can go wherever I want. And my agent, Todd France, is probably having conversations off the record, feeling out the market. So he can leave Dallas. And Jerry Jones, by the way, Jerry Jones, who walks around this planet with leverage in every situation, doesn't have leverage this time.
The time when you made me the highest paid linebacker in NFL history. You know who else was on the other line? The Detroit Lions. You know what they said? I got a blank check. And I said, no, thank you. The grass is not always green on the other side. A stable organization in the Dallas Cowboys does not compare to the Las Vegas Raiders with a new coach, with skilled players that may be leaving, the organization. Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams may get traded.
So
by about midseason.
That's the question you confront if you're Dak Prescott right now. Like if the Cowboys are trying to sign you before the season starts, you would not probably get as much as you would get if you got to the open market.
Exactly.
So what's the priority?
But if I'm Jerry, why would I pay this guy early when he can get injured? the Eagles can dominate us and the Washington Commanders surprise us.
Same reason
and I'm gonna give him
paying quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence just got $55 million a year. What's he done?
I understand that, but what I'm saying is Jerry is the price isn't going to go too much farther up. $60 million is probably the cap.
It is
right?
if he gets to free agency.
But the price could go down if he stinks it up and the team don't win. Why would I want to pay a guy $60 million and I don't win a playoff game again? And then I'm stuck with all this money and I got to pay Michael Parsons, and then now I'm stuck with this guy for 5 years, or I pay him and he gets hurt tomorrow, and then now I got a quarterback that's been hurt twice with catastrophic injuries, and I paid him now. Jerry, sit back and let it play out. At this point, you're at the point of no return, in my opinion.
So, Greeny, let me take the three of you guys into the room where we're having these discussions if we're the Cowboys, and we're saying, what's the option? What's the alternative? This team, if Dak Prescott walks out, is a lot closer to having Shedeur Sanders as their quarterback next year than they are Dak Prescott, because they are
That may be better. That may be better with a cheap. We see the 49ers doing it with a bunch of young talent around it with a cheap quarterback. That may be a better option. Or I may say, hey, let me go trade for Kirk Cousins. I know they got a first-round draft pick that they might want to give up that. Like, if you're not winning nothing with him, then why make him the highest paid player?
Mike's good at TV. He ties a whole show together.
Right.
The Shedeur Sanders, the Dallas Cowboys is perfect.
But I think the point that you're making, and it's not wrong, and you're not really saying different things. If Dak Prescott walks out the door, you're starting all over again. Yes. That's what you're doing. Right. You're starting from scratch. And so you're figuring out who the next quarterback is. And is the next quarterback as good as Dak Prescott? Probably not. But is he $60 million worse than Dak Prescott? That's the question, if you're Jerry, you're asking yourself. Look, it looks to me like they're going to go into the season and they're going to figure it out. And they're going to have all their chips in the middle of the table, and it's going to be a fascinating ride. I have three questions for you. Let's start with this. The Brando Aiyuk saga came to an end yesterday. How did this thing get worked out?
49ers never wanted to move him, but they were getting a little impatient with the season starting next week, so they kind of did some things this week to try and see if they could lock this in. Bart Scott talked earlier about the grass not always being greener. Brando Aiyuk found out what his other options were and decided he wanted to stay in San Francisco. Once they made the cash flow on the contract work, this was the result they were hoping for all along.
All right, so they got him done. Now what does this mean for his star teammate Trent Williams?
Well, it gives him time to work on whatever it is that Trent Williams wants. He's got 3 years left on his contract, but no guarantees, and they're probably going to have to bring some money forward from future years, guarantee some money, get him in. But yeah, Bart's right. The clock is ticking. But now that Aiyuk is settled, their focus will be on trying to get Trent Williams into camp and practicing next week.
No, what Bart is saying is don't get him in there until after the opening Monday night game against the Jets.
I see, yes.
That's what he's rooting for, and candidly, so am I. All right, so now we got the one wide receiver situation done. What is going on with Jamar Chase?
So he's back in practice this week. Zach Taylor said he expects him to play week 1. Then he sits out practice the next 2 days. It feels like he's kind of trying to make a point. Remember, Jamar Chase is only through year 3. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, the guys who got the biggest wide receiver deals, Brando Aiyuk, this offseason were through year 4. So the Bengals have kind of seemed like they want to wait till next year. Jamar seems like he wants it now. Listen, with CD done, with Aiyuk done, I think if you're the Bengals now, you go to Jamar Chase and you say, all right, here's what we got. This is what the market is. Do we want to do something now, or do you want to wait till next year? And that answer will probably determine whether he practices next week ahead of their opener.
And the question is, with their very old school owner, who has been known to be frugal, is he even willing to do that from a setting a precedent kind of standpoint?
So, yeah, look, in terms of the spending, the Bengals of the last few years have kind of cut against that perception, right? They've been active in free agency, big deal for Joe Burrow, et cetera, et cetera. The question is, how do you want the contract built? Because except for Burrow's deal, the Bengals have never put guaranteed money in the second year of a contract, or only the signing bonus is guaranteed. So he's going to have to accept that structure, or else he's going to have to wait for a deal.
And more fundamentally is, do we tear it up with multiple years to go? Because, Greeny, look, I've dealt with the Bengals. I've negotiated with them. That was in the context of a trade. They are very principled. Once they take a position, they may say to Jamar Chase, hey, we love you, but we don't want to do it 2 years ago, because now the next player is going to say, well, you did it for him. What about me?
That's what I meant.
But they haven't said that yet. Right. Like, they have had conversations. Like, the Bengals are open to the idea of doing a deal this offseason. It just has to be their deal.
So let's get out of the money part of this, because the fans don't care about the money. The fans care about the play. If Jamar Chase is not on the field for the Bengals, then what? What does that mean for Joe Burrow and company?
I mean, to quote Thanos, you couldn't live with your failures. And where did that get you? It brought you right back here to me. T. Higgins is like, yo, what's up? I've been asking for money. I'm right here. And now y'all want me to be the #1 receiver while we waiting for Jamar Chase? Listen, they already lost Tyler Boyd. Their strength was their skill position players. The fact that they had Jamar Chase, and if you try to take him away, T. Higgins can get you. And if T. Higgins didn't get you from the slot, Tyler Boyd, they're losing that depth. And you talk about, listen, I was in that division too, and I know a lot of players that played there. Ocho tried to get paid, and Mike Brown stands on business. Listen, Trey Henderson, we got the same agent. He's waiting for a contract too, because just like Hassan Reddick, he's been one of the most productive sacks getters now. So if you open up Pandora's box, I'm sure Trey's gonna say, hold up, I'm right here. And Mike Brown has always stood on business. He is a old school guy. And it works in your benefit when you're not playing as well, because he won't cut you. He'll live up to his principles, but he won't pay you early. 2 years early, that would be unprecedented in my opinion.
So that's where we are. And we'll see if something winds up getting done. And if it doesn't get done, we'll see if he winds up playing the season. And if he doesn't,
he's got to play.
Right. I refuse to.
But he's holding in, so it's not costing him any money.
But here's where I would push back on that, guys. Jalen Ramsey a couple years ago ran that play in Jacksonville. His back was tight.
Oh, my back.
They had to pay him. He held in. He got traded for 2-1s. He got paid in the Rams. And if I'm Jamar Chase, I'm saying I'm roughly under like $5 million a year. They're making 7 times the amount of money in terms of the top of the market, Justin Jefferson. So I am not 1/7 the player. But look, Mike Brown can do what he wants, and I totally get that from a management standpoint. But I'm saying in this new system, guys, if he holds in, it could really force their hand.
But there's been a lot of guys asking the Bengals for trades the last few years that never got him.
Right,
like they don't do it. So at some point he's going to have to be on the field.
And Justin Jefferson, is a year ahead, and he was the best receiver in the game right now. Right, so like
Jamar Chase is that good too, right?
But he's a year behind.
He's minuscule.
But this is
no, it's the year. I understand that.
I don't know why he's in a rush. If I were him, I'd want to wait because it's only going to go up.
Well, we'll see. One way or another, that is one to watch very, very closely. It's not my money, not yours.
Quoting Thanos.
We'll figure it out.